attack ads, if you will, work to depress democracy. Not a great thing to be doing in America these days. We start with the Senate race up in Pennsylvania. Joining me right now is Senator Arlen Specter. Senator Specter, thank you for coming on tonight. I wanted you to talk about your TV ad that's running in Pennsylvania right now. Here's the ad. We're going to run it free for you, and then I want you to respond to what you're running it right now. Here it is. Let's listen.
Joe Sestak, relieved of duty in the Navy for creating a poor command climate. Joe Sestak, the worst attendance of any Pennsylvania congressman, and near the bottom of the entire Congress. Last year alone, Sestak missed 127 votes. Sestak says the missed votes weren't important. He went campaigning instead. Let's say no to No Show Joe.
And here's part of a web video your campaign put out last summer. Let's watch that, and we have one more to show. All three of them we're showing tonight.
He wants you to vote for him, but doesn't vote for us. Joe Sestak, AWOL, for Pennsylvania.
I'm Arlen Specter, and I approve this message.
And here's a website sponsored by your campaign called No Show Joe. It's on top of the page. It says Joe Sestak, AWOL. Senator, it's 4 weeks to go before the primary in May. Why are you focusing on this man's 31-year military career and not his political positions?
Well, I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing most heavily on my own very positive record. And I'm speaking about that on the stump, and I'm advertising it on television. But when Congressman Sestak puts on a commercial touting his service, and I commend him for most of his service, but it's relevant, and the voters ought to know why he was terminated. And it is not my words, but it's the words of the Navy Times and the Army Times, that he was terminated because of poor control climate, poor command climate. And when he puts on this ad, which is in violation of DOD rules because there's no disclaimer, I think I'm entitled to reply. The voters ought to know the whole story. Listen, in my opinion, these are facts.
Let me ask you, well, I'm not going to give his side of the story, but he gave it to us last night, so I'll relay it to you, Senator. He says that a new chief of naval operations came in, Mike Mullen, and he replaced Vernon Clark. Vernon Clark says this about him. This is Vernon Clark, the CNO who appointed him. He did what I asked him to do. I wanted straight talk, and this put him in the crosshairs. People are going to say what they want to say, but he challenged people who did not want to be challenged. The guy is courageous, a patriot's patriot. Now, this is the guy who appointed him. A new CNO came in. The new CNO had the prerogative to remove him. He did. You say the word relieved of duty and terminated. Those words sound like he was fired, like he did something wrong, that he was not getting a good performance review. What was it?
Well, that's what the military journals say, that he was fired. And he has commented about what Admiral Clark said, but when Admiral Mullen came in, he terminated him. And as the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette quoted, and I wrote this down to be precise, these are not my words, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette on April 5th of this year, earlier this month, said, quote, a current admiral said that Sestak had a, quote, tyrannical leadership style. He would command by fear and intimidation. And that was why he was terminated, because of his poor command climate. Listen, those aren't my words. Those are the reports in the Army Times, the Navy Times, and a currently serving admiral.
Well, let me ask you about his whole military record. You said something relatively positive about most of his record. I want to put that out for the public so they know who the guy is. He served in he's an Annapolis guy. He graduated second in his class. He's the highest-ranking former military officer ever elected to the U.S. Congress. He served for 31 years in the Navy. He retired as a three-star admiral, and at one point he led an aircraft carrier battle group, the George Washington Group, in Afghanistan, and he also was with the Navy's Deep Blue anti-terror team after 9/11. He has had a long record. Do you think it's fair on your part to run an ad 4 weeks before the primary that said he was relieved of duty? It sounds to me like you're really killing the guy in terms of his 31-year record based on perhaps how well he didn't get along with the new CNO.
Well, I am not questioning any of the positive things you have said. And I agree that that part of his record is commendable. but it is relevant as to why he was terminated. And when he runs an ad touting himself, I think the public is entitled to have all of the facts, and that's what we have laid on the line. Look here, when we talk about his absenteeism and missing votes, we're not questioning his judgment or speculating about who may be right or who may be wrong. We have dealt with hard facts, and I think the public is entitled to know all the facts. If he wants a promotion to be a senator, why hasn't he done his job as a member of the House of Representatives? The worst record of anybody in the Pennsylvania delegation. Right. Now, should that not be brought to the public?
Well, let's talk about the public interest and not the interest of either of your candidacies. You've been a respected member of the Senate for 30 years. You've been very successful in getting reelected, and people think you're a smart guy and you're on your game. But the question I guess the public has a right to ask is, why don't you confront him to his face with this stuff? Why don't you debate him on television like this? And you're a prosecutor. You know the rules of the courtroom. You have a right to be confronted with the evidence against you in person, in court. Why don't you debate this fella on television like we're doing? Well, I'm not doing it for him, but I'm trying to serve up, I guess, this debate. Are you going to debate him on television?
The answer is yes. I've agreed to a statewide televised debate in all the markets. When he ran for re-election in 2008, his opponent won a series of debates, and he said no. And why did he say no? Well, that's the customary response of an incumbent. Listen, Chris, it is difficult to get name recognition, to get people to know you. I travel to virtually every one of Pennsylvania's 67 counties every year. It's hard work. Well, let Congressman Shestak earn his own name recognition. Right. But I've agreed to the debate, and we also had another debate where I confronted him. We debated before the Democratic women several weeks ago. We had a joint appearance before a group in Pittsburgh. We've been together, and he'll have his debate. And listen, Chris, he has not spared the rod in criticizing me. He's been doing it for more than a year. And listen, I've developed a thick skin. I'm not complaining about his criticism of me. I'm talking about my positive record, what I've done on NIH funding, what I've done on bringing jobs to Pennsylvania. But I think the public's entitled to know all the facts. Now, listen, you invite me, I appear. I'm very accessible. Been on MSNBC. This is my third time in 36 hours.
I know you're on a lot on Ed's show. Let me ask you, when will this debate be, so people watching now will know when to tune in? When will this debate be between yourself?
May 1st, 7 o'clock, statewide, all the television markets, for a full hour.
That's Saturday night at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay, well, good luck in the debate, Senator. You've answered the question for me. The guy was terminated. He was relieved of duty. I personally hope you have more than one debate, but that's your call. Senator Arlen Specter of Pennsylvania. Coming up, President Obama went up to New York today to Wall Street. How'd he do? But first, during the commercials, among the